Hello students, let us begin with Unit 12, Organic Chemistry, some basic principles. So you know what is organic chemistry. Organic chemistry is that branch of chemistry which deals with the compounds of carbon with other elements such as hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, etc. There are a few exceptions which are not studied under organic chemistry. Those are carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. In other words, you can say the oxides of carbon, bicarbonates and carbonates. These are compounds of carbon, but they are not studied under organic chemistry. Normally, by organic chemistry, we mean the compounds which have originated from living organisms. But that was a misconception. Later on, it was found that even inorganic compounds can be converted to organic compounds. Now, why carbon is so special that it has to be studied under a separate heading? There are two unique properties of carbon which makes it so special. One such property is catenation. Now, what is catenation? It is the unique property of carbon due to which it forms long chain, branched chain, as well as closed ring structures by covalent bonds. No other element in the periodic table has so much of variety, okay, in forming different types of covalent bonds. Only carbon has this special quality. And another property which makes carbon so special is its tetravalency. Okay, that means it has valency 4. Then you may say there are other elements in group 14 which also has valency 4, but it is not, it is the first of all the valency 4, and secondly its small size which makes it so unique. The tetravalency of carbon and catenation property makes carbon unique, due to which it can form a wide range of compounds and studied under a separate branch of chemistry altogether. Carbon not only forms single covalent bond with itself, but due to its small size, it is capable of forming double and triple bond with itself also. As you know, we have carbon-carbon double bond, carbon-carbon triple bond in alkenes and alkynes, and also it can form double and triple bond with other elements such as carbon-oxygen double bond, carbon-nitrogen triple bond. Okay. So carbon can undergo all three types of hybridization: sp, sp2 and sp3. So now we'll take up a few small questions, which is extension of chemical bonding chapter. So you should be able to answer because we have just completed chemical bonding. Calculate the number of sigma and pi bonds in the following compounds. Also identify the type of hybridization in each carbon. You see, it is a textbook question. This kind of molecules will be given to you. Now looking at this structure, it is very difficult to find out how many sigma and pi bonds are there. So it is always advisable to write them in the complete structural form by showing all the bonds. Okay, so when we convert the same molecule in this form, you can see there is a bond between hydrogen and carbon which is not shown here. Carbon carbon triple bond is there. Then we have a bond between carbon and carbon here also. So when you draw the complete structural formula, then only you'll be able to calculate the correct number of sigma and pi bonds. So I have solved it for you. There are 10 sigma bonds, as you can see: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. There are 10 sigma bonds and there are 3 pi bonds in this particular compound. And if you need to find out the type of hybridization, the easiest way is when carbon is forming 2 pi bonds, it is sp. If it is forming 1 pi bond, then it is sp2. And when it doesn't form any pi bond, it is sp3. So you can see these two carbons have 2 pi bonds attached to them. So these two are sp hybridized. These two carbons, they have 1 pi bond associated with them. So it is sp2 hybridized. And here we don't have any double bond, I mean then no pi bonds. So it is sp3 hybridized. Next we have similar question: CH2 double bond, C double bond, CH, CH3. So here also the bond between carbon and hydrogen and carbon, which are single bond, are not shown. So we convert it to complete structural form and then we count the number of sigma and pi bonds. It comes to, sigma comes to be 9 and pi comes to be 2. Then we have a simple molecule CH3Cl. Here no pi bonds, so it is very simple to calculate. You can understand it is having 4 sigma bonds and 0 pi bonds, and the hybridization is sp3. Now you will initially find it difficult to answer such questions. It's written CH3 twice CO. It means that this particular CO is attached to two CH3s. So you can see how we write the structural form CH3. Then since oxygen valency is 2, we have C double bond O. Then we have again CH3. That's how we convert the condensed form to structural form. This way when we write a molecule, it is called condensed form. Now we have the structural form. So when we count the number of sigma and pi bonds, the sigma bonds are found to be 9, pi bond is found to be 1, and the two terminal carbons, they are sp3 hybridized, and the carbon bearing oxygen is sp2 hybridized. Then we have CH3CN. So here also the bond between carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, nothing is shown in the given molecule. You have to understand how to write. So always you have to remember carbon valency is 4. Okay, so carbon, here we put 4 bonds around carbon, and nitrogen valency is 3. So here carbon is forming a triple bond with nitrogen. So number of sigma bonds comes to be 5, and number of pi bonds come to be 2, and the hybridization of the first carbon is sp3 and that of the second carbon is sp, since there are 2 pi bonds here. The next molecule is HCONH2. It is an amide. This class of compound is called amide. Here the bonds are very clearly shown. So here we have 5 sigma, 1 pi, and the hybridization on the carbon is sp2. So this way some more examples are given. You can have a look at all of them. All are being solved, so it won't be difficult for you to understand. The next topic we move to structural representation of organic compounds. That means if you have an organic compound, it can be expressed in various ways. One of the ways is molecular formula. In molecular formula, what happens? The total number of combining atoms are given together and no bonds are shown, no functional group is specified. Okay, so looking at the molecular formula, it is very difficult to predict what is the compound. Then the most common way or most general way of representing a molecule is condensed formula. In condensed formula, the functional group, various types of linkages are shown. Then structural formula is definitely good, where all the bonds between each of the combining atoms are shown, but it is little time taking, so it is not so frequently used, but it is definitely good for the beginners. Then comes bond line structure. It's very interesting. In the bond line structure is mostly used for cyclic compounds or ring structures, where the symbol for carbon and hydrogen are not shown. The bond between carbon and carbon is shown by zigzag lines. Okay, where each corner represents a carbon. And hydrogen bonds are not shown. Apart from carbon and hydrogen, if any other element is there, then it will be shown. Let us try to understand each of these types with the following examples. So you can see I have chosen a molecular formula C5H12. Now looking at C5H12, we only can say the compound has 5 carbons and 12 hydrogens. And how are the linkages, what type of bonding is there, nothing is specified here. So when we write CH3, the terminal carbons will be always CH3 if there is no double or triple bond, because you know carbon has valency 4, so there's one bond between carbon and carbon, so remaining 3 should be with hydrogen. So it is CH3, CH2, 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 CH3. So this way when we write, this is called condensed formula. As you can see, CH2 is repeated 3 times here, so it can also be written as CH3, CH2 thrice CH3. So this way also condensed formula can be written. Then comes structural formula. So you can see here in the structural formula, what did we do? We have shown all the bonds between carbon and hydrogen, and everywhere you have to remember carbon valency is 4. So you can see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, like that. Everywhere carbon has satisfied its valency to be 4. It may be by single bond or double or triple bond, but in this present case, as you can see, the molecular formula satisfies the general formula of alkane, CnH2n plus 2. Here n is 5, so 5 2s are 10 plus 2 is 12. So you can understand it will definitely satisfy the formula of an alkane, meaning there should not be any double or triple bond. So this way when we write, it gives rise to structural formula. Then you see, since there are 5 carbons here, we draw 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 zigzag lines which represents the same compound. Okay, and this way representation is called bond line structure. And just to give you an information, the name of this compound is pentane. Pent because there are 5 carbon, ane because all the bonds are single bond. Now with the same molecular formula, we can write another structure. You see, this is also C5H12, but this time what did I do? I made a chain of 4 carbon, and the 5th carbon I made attached to carbon 2. Remember, a branch, we call them branch. The branch can never be in the terminal carbons. If you put the branches in terminal carbon, they are as good as straight chain. Okay. So this way when I have written, this becomes a condensed formula. I can make it further condensed by writing this way. Since there are two CH3s attached to carbon 2, I can write here CH3 twice, then CH, then CH2, CH3. So these either way writing is condensed form. Then how do I convert it to structural form? It's always advisable that you number the carbons. So there are 4 carbons in the longest chain. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. And in carbon 2, you see there is a CH3. So I draw one line here. Now since this is carbon and hydrogen only, I am not putting the symbol here. Okay, just this line we represent CH3. So this way we are able to write the bond line structure for the given compound. And for your information, name of this compound will be 2-methyl butane. Okay. So this is the structural formula, this is the bond line formula, this is the condensed formula of the same molecular formula C5H12. Let's try some more. You see number 3, we have the condensed formula given CH3CH. When something is written within bracket CHBr, you can understand that will be a branch, okay, attached to carbon 2. Then CH2CH3. So this way the molecule is given. If you check your textbook, you will find all these molecules in the examples. So here it is given in the condensed form. Let us convert it to structural form. So we have numbered the carbon 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you can see in carbon 1 we have CH3, in carbon 2 we have CH and then Br. Then in carbon 3 is again CH2 and carbon 4 is CH3. So this way when we write, it becomes the structural formula. Then we write the bond line structure for this. So what did I do? Since there are 4 carbons in the chain, I have drawn a zigzag line of 4 carbon. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. And you see in carbon 2 we have this Br. So here I'm at carbon 2 I'm drawing a line, and since Br is not carbon or hydrogen, so we are writing the symbol Br. And name of this compound is 2-bromobutane. Why is it 2-bromobutane? When you write 2-bromo, you should put 2 hyphen, then bromo should be written in small letter, then but because there are 4 carbon, ane because all the bonds are single bond. And remember, between 2 and bromo there should be a hyphen, and bromobutane should be a single word. There should not be any space between bromobutane. Another molecule given in the book, that is CH3, CH2, CO, CH2, CH3. So this is the condensed formula given. We convert it to structural formula. I number the carbon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can make a chain of 5. Okay, then show all the 4 bonds of carbon. Now whenever it is CO, only CO, no OH there. You can understand it has to be a double bond. So this way we show all the bonds and we convert the condensed formula to structural formula. Then how we express it in the form of bond line structure? Again, since there are 5 carbons in the chain, I draw a zigzag line of 5 carbon, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. There are 5 carbons, each corner represent a carbon, and you see the double bond O is in carbon 3. So here in carbon 3 I put a double bond O. So here we have to put the symbol of O because oxygen is a different atom. So this way we write the bond lines formula. Then, as I told you, bond line formula is most common for cyclic compounds. So if I simply draw a triangle, okay, if you write a triangle in equation that represent heat, but if I express a molecule in the form of triangle, then what does it mean? It means that each corner has one carbon, and to satisfy the valency of carbon, we have 2 more hydrogens at each corner. So its molecular formula should become C3H6. Okay, and this way we write the structural formula, and this way we write the condensed formula. Name of this compound is cyclopropane. I have not written the names here. When you listen to the video, you please take down these names in the note. So your note should be open when you are listening to this or watching this video. Then the next formula is given, CH3, CH, double bond, CH, then CH2 3 times, CH3. So you can understand it is definitely the condensed form. So we make the structural form. You can see here 1, 2, 3. Then here I have 3 CH2s, so altogether 6. Then here 7. So we make a carbon chain of 7. Then you can see between carbon 2 and carbon 3 we have a double bond. So put a double bond between carbon 2 and carbon 3, and rest of the valencies you satisfy by hydrogen. Now when you express the same compound in the bond line structure, you write a zigzag line made up of 7 carbon. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. And you can see between carbon 2 and 3 there is a double bond. So we put a double bond between carbon 2 and carbon 3. Name of this compound will be hept2in. Hept, why hept? Hept means 7, H-E-P-T, hept. Then between 2 and 3 we have the double bond, so we take the smaller number, hept2, and because of double bond it belongs to alkene family, so we write E-N-E, hept2in. So we have our discussion till here today. In the next class we'll begin with the next topic, maybe classification of element. Let's see. No, sorry, not classification of elements, classification of organic compounds. Then you can see there is a homework for you, 12.5 and 12.6, problem 12.5 and 12.6 from your textbook. Thank you.